Bonsoir, mes amis. I hope you're having a very good Wednesday today. The topic: horticulture. Mhm. The art and practice of cultivating a garden. The Japanese specifically, that's really what we're going to be focusing on. And let me just pull up some pictures for you. Awesome. Look at that. Ah, my heart. I am fascinated and impressed by what this culture is able to do and really how they have changed, morphed, and survived over the years. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. But horticulture is a little bit different than typical agriculture and what you think of. For this one, it's very much into the smaller things and then more curated. So it's like a tiny like miniature garden thing, but just for like aesthetics. And there's a lot of practice that goes into this. Think of bonsai. Yeah, you guys though. When I think of bonsai, I want to say bonsai. Oh man, it's just so much fun. It just today you should go around be like bonsai. But anyways, that's my little bit of um funness I got to get out for that one. But yes, Japanese culture is quite interesting of how they came to be with this horticulture and why they do it and why it came so far to the point where we in the United States now have trees like the cherry trees that they do have the Japanese and the bonsai and things like that. And we've adopted some of their methods, and we now have museums. Most one that is known in America would be the DC one that we have. We'll get more into that a little bit later, but I think part of the great thing about Washington, D.C. is all the culture and all the cool things that are available to witness the museums and, different walks of life that people come from, all that jazz. And wow, it simply is fascinating. I have this up for you, and I'm gonna give you some tidbits about the Japanese culture and where they began and how they came to be so good at this practice and so good at making these beautiful trees that are hundreds of years old, older than our country. Japan has trees that are older than us. Yeah, wow. Wow, wow, wow. I would have never. I mean, we do know of their culture, but we don't often think about it. The reverence for both natural world and for old age are deeply embedded in Japanese culture, just as bonsai are cared for carefully and patiently for generations. A similar attitude is extended to trees planted in the landscape. Japan's oldest cherry trees, the three great Japanese cherry blossoms, are each over 1,000 years old. Japanese methods emphasize the preservation of a tree's canopy. A tree's leaves are how it eats. Each leaf is busily photosynthesizing, converting sunlight and carbon dioxide into sugar. Maintaining these trees, maintaining the large canopy, is what allows the trees to maximize the amount of energy that they receive. And it also helps them, support the big trunks, all that kind of stuff, getting the energy from it. I never knew that. I never knew. It makes sense, of course, because we learn about photosynthesis in school and how that does happen and it feeds trees. But I would have not thought that the trees actually get their energy from the leaves. Isn't that fascinating? Wow. Okay, I have some more pictures before I move on, but I recognize that sometimes for these Japanese trees, we can or you see for some pictures that like it appears that it's doctored up a little bit. The colors are more vivid and they're more bright and pink than in actuality. So I wanted to first get you some really cool ones that are very popular, and then show you some real trees that we're looking at. And maybe you can see down below, you see these things that are holding up the tree, the post or wood that's like holding up these large limbs. Well, the Japanese cherry tree, the way that it goes out, it grows up and out. Like, and you can see there, this one here, it's growing more up. And as it gets older and bigger, the branches begin to droop, and they need to be supported or else they will die. You think of how gravity takes a toll, and they need to get all the nourishment to all those roots. Yeah, as they get older, just like anything else, they need a little bit of help. They need a little bit of help. So we do need to help these trees. We need to help them stay alive because sometimes nature is a bit cruel. It really is. So there are different techniques. They lighten the load for the very large old branches. The tree may not be able to support on its own, because like what I just said, they're old, they drooping, and if the branches snap, that's going to send a shock through a tree, and then the whole tree could die. So a tree is a living thing. It is very much a living thing. And how we prune them, how we cut off the edges, all that makes a difference. It really does. So let's say they were to let them go and do nothing, and the branches were to snap, it's likely that that tree would die. Just wow, it would just wither, which is which would be so unfortunate. But I'm really more interested in how they have kept these trees alive for so long. So there different techniques from traditionally employed traditional ones that we have. But Japan, again, the wonderful thing about this thing is that they actually helped us begin our own museum. The Koratu Fujimoto, a master gardener, actually came to America to help us keep our trees alive because they were not doing so well. Let me tell you a little bit about that. So, Koratu Fujimoto, a master gardener and expert in Japanese tree care techniques, came to the National Arboretum to teach these students how to properly take care of the cherry trees in the traditional in the traditional Japanese manner. Over the course of a week in March 2023, Mr. Fujimoto led a team of Arboretum staff, undergraduate and graduate students from the Illinois Institute of Technology and Cornell University, and colleagues from Dumbarton Oaks, Hillwood Estate, Museum of Garden, and Chicago Botanic Garden and Pennsylvania State University in fabricating and installing 18 crutches to support the pair of trees. Our trees are settling in nicely, as they say. This is their words of what they're telling us about the trees. And the new supports are, a great help, helping us, prevent the death of this tree. And if you do go online, you will be able to look it up real quick, and you will see the gradual change from like 2015 to 2018 to 2023, and you can see the tree dying. It's quite fascinating. So I'm curious. If you do check that out, you're gonna have to let me know tomorrow. Um, so that's pretty interesting that they came all the way here to help us take care of our trees and that we are able to share ideas across nations and our students are able to learn from a master. That is fascinating and I love that. Uh, it's the little good nuggets that we rarely get from everyday life. So I say the trees are doing well. They will continue to be cared for in this manner in perpetuity. Yes, oh, God willing, in perpetuity. Only time will tell how they will respond to the new braces. Of course, yes, if Japanese came to help us properly take care of these trees, I think will be pretty good. Will be pretty good of how they do.